Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely very, very excited to see how these two teams face off against each other here. These have been some of the most fun matches coming out of these teams, each of these teams in the matches they played previously. I'm really, really super stoked to see what they have in store for us in this series.
And the gates are about to open. Let's hear it for these teams. So excited. This is such an important match for both teams. As the doors open, we're going to be following Thugonomicsz out from the start because he's definitely going to be the initiator in this fight. Charges in immediately, getting over to Noliferqt.
Yeah, he is trying to put down a little bit of damage. Does get stunned out there, so not quite able to do as much as he wants, but that heroic leap into the intimidating shout, sending people off in every single direction. He is putting a whole lot of pressure on Noliferqt right out of the gate here. Yeah,
and Noliferqt already had to trinket right there, as Thugonomicsz is going to get cycloned, which is going to stop that pressure. But that was a good trinket to force on Noliferqt. They're just going to train him the entire time. Oh no, looks like they are going to switch on to Zunniyaki right now, putting out that pressure. And I love the use of the offensive Ring of Peace. It just constantly is being applied to Thugonomicsz during these matches.
Yeah, and it's worth pointing out, obviously at this point you've already seen it, but Zunniyaki is playing his Shadow Priest, not his Warrior, as we had expected might be the case. So interesting choice to stick with that Shadow Priest. Obviously, I think against this comp, it might actually make a whole lot of sense for him to do that.
Yeah, and you can see that playing a Mistweaver Monk at the highest level, you need to be very, very careful about managing your mana, constantly using that chi to stack up those brews. But look, and Noliferqt taking so much damage out in the middle, but trying to burst himself as he's getting those icicles up, as he's starting to fire him off. And look at all that damage onto Novoz, having to Shaman Rage. We see a trinket out of Dannycarey into a full Cyclone right there. Oh, and now we see the Life Cocoon.
Wow. He did get the Life Cocoon off before that full Cyclone went out, so that was able to keep Novoz alive, but still, that's a lot of cooldowns that were just used trying to get Novoz alive. There was a Bark Skin that came out of Minpojke onto Noliferqt, so not a completely one-sided trade there, but still, I feel like PvP Live definitely had to use a lot more to keep Novoz alive in that case.
Yeah, now Heart of the Wild is up by Minpojke, as Zunniyaki is going to be taking a lot of damage. You hear that Colossus smash by that Warrior as he's trying to get a ton of damage out, because if they turn it around and they can burst Novoz yet again, he doesn't have Shaman Rage for a while.
And Zunniyaki actually getting pretty low on mana. I know it's not a huge concern for him, but it is something that he's going to have to keep aware of in these battles like this. If he goes completely and can't Dispersion, that would be terrible.
Yeah, as we see, looks like Dannycarey is going to Nimble Brew out of that deep freeze as he's trying to get away. He is stuck in a full poly right now. Novo's taking a lot of damage with a Blanket Silence, followed by a Fear, that rallying cry coming out from Thugonomicsz, but he is stuck in that ring. Novo's still in trouble as that half Cyclone lands, the Devouring Plague on him. Oh wow,
he's trying to heal, but he's still standing in the orb, taking so much damage, but it looks like he will eventually be able to get away here. There's that offensive Ring of Peace yet again, trying to switch over onto Minpojke, it looks like, and he's taking a bunch of damage, but with that Life Grip there from the Shadow Priest and the Ursak, he should be fine.
Oh, he had to use a bunch there. The Bark Skin is down, Stampeding Roar to try to get away, but now he's stunned, and there we go. The Symbiosis Ice Block saving his life.
Yeah, for sure. That was a lot of cooldowns that MIR just had to use. And even that Life Grip wasn't a terribly long one. It didn't actually seem to do a whole lot, but still, every little bit that they can use to stay alive is fantastic. We do have another Bark Skin going down on Zunniyaki, trying to keep him alive here. And a Ring of Peace, excuse me, a Ring of Frost coming down as well. Dannycarey in a full sheet, but it doesn't look like his team is in too much danger at this particular moment in time, but there is a whole bunch of damage starting to come in on Novoz.
All right, so Dannycarey is feared, having to trinket right. Wow.
What?
Well, they put some CC onto Dannycarey right there, as he did have to trinket, but I mean, wow.
Yeah, seriously, that was like, I was like, okay, yeah, sure, he's going to take a whole lot of damage here for a second. This will probably last a little, oh, never mind, he's dead.
Yep, and I mean, it can happen when you have the burst from a mage coming out plus the Shadow Priest. You know, Shadow Priest is going to have to maintain a lot, keep their dots up on a lot of target, build up those orbs, but once they have orbs and they're ready to go, it's just so much damage they can dump into a target.
Meanwhile, PvP Live is not actually like giving up the ghost just yet. Thugonomicsz is still trying to do something here. I don't know that there's actually that much that can be done. But
I mean, you do have a Monk healer. They have an incredible burst healing. You see that Thunder Brew coming up, so he can try to get some big heals out, but I mean, they're just going to have to train Thugonomicsz. The only hope that Thugonomicsz has is they can somehow score a kill, and it has to be the healer. Like anything else, they won't be able to do much. You see the shield wall coming out. He's using everything.
Yeah, and it's looking like Thugonomicsz will not be able to last too much longer here. Dannycarey is keeping him alive very well, but I just don't know that he's going to have the damage output, even with that damage from the Monk.
Down to half, that Bark Skin is tossed out again with Cenarium Ward on top of it. Thugonomicsz trinketing, trying to get to that healer as he's down to half right there, but the long grip. And Thugonomicsz is going to have trouble getting back on top of him, as he's going to have to sit in defensive stance in the middle while he has two casters just beating on him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Thugonomicsz getting very, very low here. There's the orb, and down he goes. That's the end of that. PvP Live loses this match. MIR takes